Thank you, Administrator. Wanted to ask, I understand, and I know there have been questions about staffing, Administrator. I understand the FAA has continued processing airport applications for federal grants, but review times have increased as the agency loses staffing expertise at its headquarters and district offices. This is troublesome for many airports as these airports work to keep their construction projects on schedule. As you understand, how has DOGE's efforts to downsize the FAA impacted the agency's grant review time and processing to date?
Thank you for the question. I don't believe that any DOGE activities, which have not directly related to any FAA activities, have had any impacts on the grant specifically. I would say that when we first came in, there was a backlog, a serious backlog of grant announcements that we had to work through. I would say that as I look at kind of my sheet here, we're looking at $1.7 billion here in getting out in over 465 grants. So we've kind of got our momentum going back, but with respect to DOGE specifically, I would say there were no impacts.
You don't think a loss of headcount has had any effort in the timing and the delays of implementing the grants?
I don't believe there was a loss in headcount that impacted grants, just to be specific to the question.
We could run through the headcount losses that you've had, but you're saying at the district level or at the HQ level, you don't believe any of the loss of headcount has had a direct impact on processing and implementing grants?
No, sir. I think the delay has been related to kind of the backlog and us working through it. I don't believe it had to do with any change in the staffing.
How has the downsizing impacted the FAA's ability to approve airport projects in a timely manner?
So I think the opportunity really is to go from what we'll call traditional or paper-based types of processing and using a more streamlined process. One of the things we're looking at specific to airport grants is the use of AI. Much like we do in the safety realm, now we're looking at processing grants and using categorical exclusions, for instance, when we talk about specific projects as it relates to environmental issues. So we're using a number of different tools that we have today that we probably didn't have a year ago in order to expedite that. But I go back to, it is not about the change in the workforce specifically. It's more along the lines of building out a more efficient process going forward.
And we'd love to be partners in building an efficient process. I think that's what the chairman and the ranking member have indicated they are focused on, and we want to be willing partners here. I think what's frustrating is when actions happen or grants don't get out, and we just see the impacts and the results, not just of safety concerns, but of actual dollars getting out on the streets, back homes closer to our district. But since you mentioned projects, or since we're talking about projects, the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2024 included provisions to speed up airport infrastructure projects by reducing regulatory overreach in land use approvals. You talked about categorical exemptions and streamlining the process for approving these projects with local user fees. Can you give an update on the FAA's progress in simplifying airport land use approvals and launching fully streamlined passenger facility charge approval process?
Yeah, again, I appreciate that question simply because because of what we described earlier as kind of backlogs, we have looked at the opportunity, in addition to what reauthorization has directed, for our staff to be able to kind of look for like opportunities, whether it's on the West Coast or the East Coast, and be able to streamline that. Specific to environmental issues, that is obviously a little bit more challenging, but one of the ways we are doing that is, in fact, using the categorical exclusions to expedite the projects out there. Because I understand getting that money out there, particularly in a important building season, is critical to the local communities.
When will the locals see that benefit? When will they see the projects, and when will they see the delays cease?
I think the delays have begun to decrease significantly, and I think they will continue to see more money coming out. Again, in the next few weeks, we're going to see hundreds of millions of dollars coming out through those grants.
I've got a local issue. We'll put it into the record for you to get back to us on San Bernardino International Airport as a federal contract tower, and we've had some language that we secured in the reauth, and we'd love your attention to this and your help with this. We'll send it to the record as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Joyce?
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Rocheleau, thank you for being here today. I'd like to follow up on my distinguished colleague, Mr. Aguilar's comments there. And